Hey, honey,
Yes, Barry?
let's get out of here.
Where are we going?
Where do we always go?
Fascina el viento, este ritmo de palmas, sin mi naturaleza, hasta encontrar la playa. Por eso grito al mundo, yo soy de Puerto Vallarta. Samba de Puerto Vallarta, noche de arrullo en el mar. Samba de Puerto Vallarta.
Hello, fellow travelers, and welcome to this episode of the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show. I'm your host, Barry Kessler. I'm just so happy to be introducing you to my favorite vacation destination, and maybe it's even yours, and that's Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. That music you're listening to is performed by Alberto Perez, and Alberto is the owner of the La Palapa group of restaurants. Those are the La Palapa, Puerto Vallarta's oldest restaurant on the famous Los Muertos Beach, and the El Dorado Restaurant and Beach Club right next door. So you can enjoy that fantastic view of the Los Muertos Pier, all lit up at night in beautiful colors, or during the day in its grand splendor for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, seated with your toes in the sand, right at the water's edge. It's so romantic. It's so Puerto Vallarta, my friends. This week we're going to be visiting a new place. Just opened up right before the pandemic hit, actually. It's a butterfly sanctuary, and it's over in Colonia Campo Verde, which is just southeast of the Puerto Vallarta airport, not too far from the Vista Vallarta golf course. And we're going to be talking with Chris. You may remember Chris from Huarique Restaurant. But before we get to him and the Butterfly Sanctuary, let's see what's happening in Puerto Vallarta this week, the 31st of October, 2020. I am still planning my second visit to Puerto Vallarta during the pandemic. The flight times and the dates have not changed. They haven't moved around like they did last time, so that's been a relief. I'll be going the November the 8th through the 14th, and through the 15th, I should say. And so that is wonderful because I am totally beat. I am tired. I need to get a little vacation. And I finally got my hoarding cat lady moved out of her house. And what do you know? She had in the back of her garage a wheelchair that had never been used. So I talked her out of it, and I'm going to be bringing it down for Salvador Estrada, my buddy the Candyman over on the Malecon, who sits in a wheelchair. Last time I was down, I was wheeling him around the El Rio barbecue, and I noticed his chair was in really bad shape. So anyway, I got to contact Delta Airlines and see what it takes to bring that down with me. But it was a great find, and luckily the hoarding client didn't think that she needed it, and she didn't have any room for it anyway in her storage locker. So good news for Salvador. But not so good news right now in Puerto Vallarta for folks who like to stay out late and to eat and drink and have a good time because, well, like in many parts of the world, cases of the Rona are rising. And Governor Alfaro, who's been threatening to push the emergency button to lock down Jalisco and Puerto Vallarta again for another 14 days if certain numbers and combinations of positive cases and hospitalizations and dead from COVID come along. I've also been telling you that he will not shut down again. And, well, I was correct, but he is cracking down and limiting the operation of nighttime businesses. It's a little complicated, but what he basically is saying and what he said, and in quotes, is we do not have to lose jobs. We can't stop the economy, Alfaro said. So as of Friday, October 30th, all nighttime activities in Puerto Vallarta, the entire state of Jalisco, have been limited. Not eliminated, but have been limited. And they've asked all non-essential businesses to actually close at 8:30 in the evening. That means bars and restaurants and shops and nightclubs. They will all have to close up at 8:30, and then they can reopen again at 6 in the morning. Pharmacias, hospitals, labs, emergency services, small corner markets, OXXOs, funeral homes, gas stations, they all can remain open. So for the next 14 days, those will be the restrictions. Activities begin again every day at 6 in the morning with no restrictions other than, following the proper protocols for all those non-essential businesses. And of course, that'll all last until 8:30 in the evening. Now, in parts of Jalisco, other than Puerto Vallarta, there will be no weekend activities allowed. Non-essential businesses will be closed, but in Puerto Vallarta, the businesses will remain open over those 2 weekends, again, from 6 in the morning until 8:30 in the evening. However, they are messing with the beaches. They're restricting people's access to sitting on the beach between the hours of 6 in the morning until 3 in the afternoon, Monday through Sunday, in an effort to slow the spread of the Rona, because everybody knows that's where the Rona lives, on beaches. But hey, not all is lost. You can either eat your dinner early, or actually, if you go to Nuevo Vallarta now, you can catch a late dinner and actually sit on the beach all day long. So, what do you know? The world is totally upside down. So, now in Puerto Vallarta, public transportation is limited. Monday through Sunday, buses will shut down at 10 o'clock, and then they restart again at 5:30 in the morning the next day. After 10 o'clock, the buses will be allowed to finish their routes and drop off all their passengers. Ubers and other web app transportation platforms can still operate, but they will only operate until 9 o'clock in the evening. And, of course, they can drop off their last ride after that time, but they must end their last trip, at 9 o'clock. Taxi service will remain the same, and taxistas are urged to take recommended cleaning and hygiene measures and no more than 3 passengers on a non-stop trip. So there we go. According to today's cutoff, the incident rate per million inhabitants reached 396.7, with 400 being the limit for pressing the button. And on the other hand, hospital occupancy only rose to 24.4%. So as long as we're at it, more restrictions actually have been put on the Malecon. Actually, today, access to the Malecon will be denied during Dia de los Muertos. Let me read this article from Vallarta Today. As part of the prevention measures against COVID-19, the municipal government of Puerto Vallarta calls upon the citizens to celebrate the tradition of Day of the Dead from their home, and that on Halloween, October 31st, that they don't go to the Malecon, as is done every year, in order to avoid possible congregation of people in this space and not to expose their health and well-being. The Deputy Director of Civil Protection and Fire, Adrian Bobilla Garcia, announced that to avoid crowds on the 30th and 31st of October, public safety and civil protection staff will be installed at the filters at all entrances to the streets that give access to the area. Also, at the height of the Rosita Hotel and the El Caballito, to invite citizens not to concentrate in the place and inhibit the celebration of Halloween, in addition to requesting the use of masks and all health measures. In addition to all of these actions, he indicated that he would be complying with the additional measures that the state government would be taking for its due fulfillment. Until now, our function as a municipality is to invite people not to come to the boardwalk on October 31st, so that many people do not accumulate because of the pandemic, to avoid bringing their children, to avoid infecting their children, to avoid bringing their elders, not to celebrate on the 31st. The official recalled that by decree of the state government in Jalisco, all public events are canceled on this date, and the Day of the Dead, both municipal authorities and private entities in public spaces, all Day of the Dead celebrations from October the 31st to November 2nd are completely prohibited. The cemeteries will be closed, and the city council will not put up altars, as it usually does every year. It will not put up Katrinas, and that is to inhibit people from coming down to the Malecon. And I have a link to that uplifting article in the show notes over at www.puertovallartatravelshow.com. Enough good news? You want to cry uncle? There's more. That's because there will be no pilgrimages this year due to a pandemic. It'll be all virtual, they say. And that's right. Here we go. From Vallarta Apina Online. The parish of Santa Maria de Guadalupe in Puerto Vallarta reported its decision to cancel the mass pilgrimages through the streets of the center due to the health contingency that still exists throughout the country. Traditional every year from December 1st to the 12th for the anniversary of the invocation of the Virgin, whose name this temple bears. This 2020 should be the exception, and there can be no mass pilgrimage or religious festivals, as is customary. However, what will be there will be a tour of the Virgin through the roads that will be filmed and broadcast live on social networks so that people can follow the ceremony. However, the parish asks that people do not go to the streets to follow the route, which will only be accompanied by a small delegation of people from the religious service itself and representatives of companies. In addition, the Puerto Vallarta City Council has not yet defined whether or not it will give permission for the installation of food stalls in the streets of the center of the town in what is formed as a traditional gastronomic tangies on the occasion of these parties. So, another cancellation. I have a link to this lovely article in the show notes. So if you're coming down specifically for the pilgrimages to witness the yearly processions where the neighbors and the organizations and the businesses traditionally dress up and parade down the streets with the bells ringing and the songs, singing and going through the air, it'll all be virtual. So they won't be spreading the Rona, you know. So there you go. And I don't know. I guess next on the chopping block is going to be New Year's, right? Film at 11 or maybe at midnight. Okay, what about some good news? Sure, I'll give you some good news. I'm going to be having a meet and greet over at Kelly's Por Favor Saloon and Cookhouse on Tuesday, November the 10th. I'll be horning in on JR's regular meet and greet, but it's going to begin at 5:30 in the evening. It's going to go just till 7 o'clock so that everybody will have a little bit of time to get out and get some dinner before the restaurant's all shut down at 8:30. Now, I really hope that some of you are, who are going to be in town, come on down and let us know what you're doing in Paradise. It would be a lot of fun to see you and to have you on the show. Also, if you own a local business or a local charity that you want to pitch, I want to hear from you. So stop by. Again, it's going to be Tuesday, November the 10th, Kelly's Por Favor Saloon and Cookhouse, 5:30 till 7 o'clock. Can you stand a little bit more good news? Sure. According to our friend Nat Moraga from Parque de los Azulejos, Tile Park PV will begin Season 4 over at Parque de los Azulejos, and that is great news. I was wondering what was going to be happening there. I'll be talking with Natasha and asking her about her plans for this upcoming season in the park. It's going to be different, but I have faith that this project will get done. But slowly but surely, we're going to get there. Anyway, stay tuned. I'm going to have Natasha on in just a couple of weeks. All right, now I have some good news. I have some other good news. Licks Ice Cream is opening up their third location. How about that? And it's right on the Malecon, right? It's very close to Vitea, where the parking structures are. And so this is wonderful because, now when you're walking down on the Malecon, you can stop and get yourself the best ice cream in Puerto Vallarta. And I'm so excited. I'm so excited for Kathleen and Todd. And I'm definitely going to get over there and see how they're doing. We'll talk a little bit with them when I'm in town next month. Anyway, they're still in the building process. So I'll get some pictures while I'm down there. Now, last week, I reported that there was a planned condo complex across from the famous marine sanctuary over at Los Arcos. That's just north of Mismaloya. If you're standing in town and you look south, you can see Los Arcos. Anyway, from Vallarta Alpina Online, protesters who currently have Federal Highway 200 taken and blocked in Mismaloya, we talked about this a couple weeks ago, leaked the renderings, the plans for the real estate project that a construction company would be building right on the beach in front of Los Arcos National Park. In the plans, not only the erection of a huge hotel or condominium building can be seen, but the extension of a dock with a small marina to moor sailboats and boats, and already very close to Los Arcos, the natural area, which is protected by restricting the number of boats in order to minimize environmental damage. It's not specified which company is building the project. However, the plans are very official looking with pamphlets, beautiful architectural renderings of the completed project, so the protesters determined that the plans were the real thing. For now, only a breakwater or a stone pier has been built, which actually projects or sticks out from the shore into the sea towards the national park. But no company has commented on the matter, and it's not known which firm is building this. But we do actually have that information as to who the builder is. And I will tell you who that is. Los Arcos by Pinnacle. That's right. This is from the website here. This is a future site of Paraíso by Pinnacle, a luxurious condominium project overlooking the famous Los Arcos National Marine Park. The secure jungle-type setting is located on the beach, just 15 minutes south of Puerto Vallarta, your own piece of paradise. Great. So anyway, I'm going to try to talk with someone over at the Pinnacle Group when I'm down there next week. I have a link to that particular website, which will tell you all about that project over in my show notes. And of course, you can find them with the renderings at www.puertovallartatravelshow.com. So there you go. We know who is behind this. All right, let's get to the interview, shall we? We're always looking for something different to do in Puerto Vallarta. I mean, that's kind of what we do on the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show, don't we? So this next place is brand new. It's not a new idea, but it's a wonderful addition to the Puerto Vallarta landscape, which of course is already a very colorful place. But this is a butterfly house. It's a Mariposario in Spanish. And of course in Spanish, mariposa means butterfly. So Mariposario is a butterfly house or a butterfly sanctuary. Vallarta, of course, if you've been here, you know already, it's got some beautiful varieties of butterflies. And over at the Mariposario, Jardin Magico, they're collecting and they're raising and they're growing their collection of these fluttering, beautiful butterflies. Now, I first met the man in charge and the creator of Jardin Magico, Chris, at a great restaurant called Huarique. You remember Huarique? They owned Huarique, and they closed, unfortunately. It was actually one of my favorites way back, I think in 2018. I interviewed Marcos over at Huarique. And, Chris is doing something totally different, and it is Jardin Magico, and he is heavily into butterflies. I reached out to Chris last time I was down in August because, I'd planned originally to attend the grand opening before the plague hit. And when that happened, everything got pushed back, just like, all over the world, I guess. But I really wanted to talk to him about his new project. I asked if he could meet with me over at La Traviata, which is a rooftop restaurant over in the Cinco de Diciembre neighborhood in Puerto Vallarta, right on top of the Hotel Paloma del Mar. It's actually located over on Calle Honduras, right where my Airbnb was. And actually, I'm reserved that same Airbnb this time too, which is pretty cool. Anyway, he said yes. He said he would talk with me, and so we're gonna talk to him now. Now, I have to warn you that the neighborhood dogs were having a great time during the interview. So just consider it authentic background effects, okay? All right. So directly from Mexico, let's go right now to Calle Honduras, to the roof of the Paloma del Mar, and let's meet Chris from Mariposario, Jardin Magico, Magic Garden in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Chris, thanks for coming on the show today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from, and what was your path that led you to Puerto Vallarta?
Oh, I'm originally from Poland, and I have migrated at the age of 20 to United States. I have stayed in the U.S. for 20-some years, and I worked in the healthcare industry. I really enjoyed it. It was a great experience, but I think working in a corporate world pushed me to make a decision to decide to get a little bit more of quality life and a little bit more time to myself and to my loved ones, and kind of get a little bit of more time to enjoy the quality time, not only at home, but really travel and do different things. And Mexico sounded perfect from that standpoint. Probably also because I'm Polish, and I believe, and that's what I see at least, that the Mexican culture is very similar to Poland. It's a Catholic country as well. So it's so vibrant, it's so rich. What's not to love over here, especially in Puerto Vallarta, on top of it, which truly is a paradise. So, yeah, here I am today and enjoying every minute of it, for sure.
Excellent. All right. Now, at one time, you had a restaurant here, yes?
Yes, we did partake the business of restaurant, which was a great experience. You had the opportunity to meet a lot of great people and make awesome connections and see what is it really all about over here to be, and something that you really always wanted to do and try. And great experience, great time. Unfortunately, being in the restaurant industry eats you alive. There is no time, there is no weekends, there are no holidays. Everything is pretty much gone. It consumes you. So we've decided, you know what, as much as we love it, let's look into something else. Let's pick what would be our second passion and love and life, and a dream as well to follow, to do.
And that is Jardin Magico.
And that is Jardin Magico. We have decided to join the team and be part of a project over here in Puerto Vallarta, where at Jardin Magico we have an amazing butterfly sanctuary. It's an enclosure, 1,000 square meters enclosure, filled with only local species of butterflies. We've decided to do it mostly because there is a huge number and variety of local species of butterflies available. And generally speaking, in Mexico, there is over 10,000 species of butterflies. And state of Jalisco is the third state in Mexico that is most abundant in butterflies. In Puerto Vallarta itself, we have approximately 330 different species of butterflies. And at the ranch where our butterfly sanctuary is located, ourselves, with our biologists, we have been able to identify so far around 150 plus species of butterflies. So it's super exciting to be here in the place where those butterflies actually are. And we decided not to import any exotic species, more so for safety purposes, for the environment, to protect the environment. If those species would escape, it could cause some harm to the local
because like
nature.
butterflies, make these caterpillars that eat stuff, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Barry, Lord have mercy. They have appetites out of this world. Caterpillars eat so much per day. It's unreal. They can literally eat the entire plant in one day.
Wow.
A colony of
So
caterpillars.
how do you feed your your caterpillars?
It's been a challenge for us, to be honest with you. We have learned a lot thus far. We have worked with different consultants and different lepidopterists from Mexico. And what science say, let's say that XYZ butterfly uses XYZ host plant for laying eggs and for caterpillars to feed on.
Yeah.
Well, Puerto Vallarta decides to be very different because a lot of those host plants are just non-existent over here. As oak trees, let's say, or different plants because the climate is just not suitable for it.
Okay, yeah.
Or for, let's say, cabbage butterfly. There is no cabbage growing over here. It's too warm as well. So we've had experimented with a lot of different variations of plants to really figure out which ones are the best for them and which one they actually will eat. Observing the nature a lot, really going and making local trips and observing where the butterflies were laying eggs, where we were able to find caterpillars and so on. It's been very interesting journey and very surprising, not only to us, but to other lepidopterists or other biologists that are in entomology industry to find out that the butterflies over here prefer totally different host plants than anywhere else, let's say within Mexico, per
Wow.
se.
Yeah. All right. So, do you collect them as the caterpillar, or do you collect them as the chrysalis? I mean, how do you collect?
Neither. Generally speaking, in Mexico, you are not allowed to catch butterflies. It's illegal. So what we have to do, we place different house plants in big planters outside throughout the rancho, and the butterflies lay eggs on them. Then at that point, we bring them in to our sanctuary. We put them in our laboratory, and that's where the whole process continues. So they hatch from the egg, and then they are caterpillars. They get born. We allow them to form the chrysalis and so on. And then it becomes beautiful butterfly, and then our wonderful guests like you or anybody else will come and will release those live butterflies into our sanctuary.
Excellent. Okay. So, what is the life span of a butterfly?
Interesting as well. Normally, an average butterfly will live approximately a month. Depending on the species, of course. Some of them live a little bit longer, some of them, very few, shorter. But in nature, butterflies only have approximately up to 30% of a chance of survival due to the weather conditions, different predators, spiders, birds, and so on. We've been able at our sanctuary achieve 96% right now of the survival rate for the butterflies.
Wow.
And our goal is 98. So we are pushing really hard, but we'll get there. I know we can do it.
Sounds pretty good. I mean, 96 doesn't sound so bad.
It's a very interesting process overall. Some of them even can be in chrysalis for several months before they will actually develop into a butterfly. Really, every species is super different.
And when obviously the butterflies mate, and then the female lays the eggs. What do these eggs look like?
Variations. For the most part, they are oval in shape. They could be different colors. They could be green, they could be yellow, they could be whitish, they could be brownish. Different species, different eggs, different shapes. Some of them are pretty much transparent, translucent. Variation. Some of them are super, super tiny. Some of them are a little bit bigger. Some of them are on the stems of the plants. Some of them are laying them directly on the leaves. Variety, really. Every species has their own way of which plant, of course, their own host plants as well on top of it. They won't lay eggs just on any plant available out there. They will only lay eggs on the plants that they know the caterpillars will be able to eat and deliver certain minerals or toxins as well, just like milkweed and so on.
Interesting. Okay. So, and obviously, you are all trained to recognize what these eggs look like, and so because that's what you need to collect, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What I'm finding out here is that the butterflies that are in Jardin Magico are local
Correct.
because they have to be.
They have to be.
Yeah.
We're trying to show really the visitors and the guests what Mexico has to offer. It will kind of defeat the purpose of bringing, butterflies from Costa Rica or somewhere else. I think, again, with over 300 species available just here in Puerto Vallarta, more than enough of beautiful creatures to show and to see.
Absolutely. Okay. So what, in your opinion, obviously it's all in the eye of the beholder, but what's the most beautiful butterfly species that you've got?
Oh, Barry. I think I would say, probably white morpho. It's a really, really big, approximately 20, 25 centimeters wide butterfly. It's really huge.
Yeah.
And I think what I really admire about him myself is the way it flies. Because it's such a big butterfly and so heavy, it flies much slower than any other butterflies. And yeah, it's magnificent.
It's like a sight
amazing.
to behold, and you can behold it because it doesn't stand still.
Exactly.
It does kind of stand still a little bit, right?
Almost literally. Beautiful, beautiful butterflies. All of them have super nice, different colors, different shapes, different behaviors, and so on. They are all pretty. They are beautiful, including even moths, because they are butterflies as well, just nocturnal.
Oh, okay. I
They
didn't
are
know that.
butterflies
So
also.
if you're a nocturnal, you're a moth.
If you're nocturnal, you're a moth.
So that's me. All right. That's very interesting. You see the butterflies, they fly around, they eat, they suck on sap. What are they sucking on? What are you feeding them? What are you feeding
by
them?
species, it varies. Some of the butterflies strictly feed on nectar from different flowers. Some of them actually really like fruits, even rotten fruits. Some of them will feed on sap from different plants and different trees. Some of them will feed even on animal dung, urine, the same, just for the need of sodium and different minerals and so on. They do a lot of paddling also, where they gather the little puddles of water and they absorb the minerals necessary for their survival and for their reproductive system.
So, are you growing flowers in there so that for them to
We do.
eat? How are we feeding these?
So the
butterflies?
entire sanctuary.
You have puddles all over the place.
No, we don't. We have two available for them and a little pond inside as well, water feature. So we have, as I mentioned, 1,000 square meters of area, and we have different variation of plants inside. Not all of them are host plants. Some of them are plants that are just local over here and just interesting to share and educate people about. But we do grow several different host plants for the butterfly specifically. Flowers, we bring fresh fruit from the local markets. We do not purchase them at the stores because a lot of fruits and purchased at the store have been either treated with pesticides, and that's of course not good for our little creatures. So we are only providing organic food for them. And water, sometimes mixture of Gatorade with a little bit of soy sauce does the job as well, and they really enjoy it. Surprisingly, a huge array of different ways to really feed them at the sanctuary.
So, what are you doing? You're Googling that? How are you finding out all this stuff?
We are working with consultants. We have a great Lepidoptera consultant from Mexico City, and he's assisting us in a lot of this. Also doing a lot of research and observation as well. As I said, the scientific research documents are showing us that certain butterflies will eat or drink or lay eggs on certain plants. And again, in Puerto Vallarta, that's not necessarily the truth. It's totally the opposite. So really, we've had to go out there and kind of shadow them and see and ran after them for hours to really discover their behaviors and see what they really like.
It sounds like you're doing a lot of practicing, kind of experimenting, see what they kind of like.
Busy.
That sounds like a lot of fun, actually.
It really is. We also want to be involved in scientific research. There are a lot of butterfly species that haven't been cataloged yet, and also there's a lot of butterflies that are already in taxonomy, but no one has done any research on them to really see their behaviors, different patterns that they use different flights and where they really lay eggs and how they feed and so on. There's a lot of very interesting information that you can really bring. We have a great lepidopterist from Oaxaca that works with us, and she has done a lot of scientific research before, and we are teaming up with her, as well as the butterfly sanctuary in Florida and a couple in Europe. So definitely looking forward to expanding in that area. I think that will be super interesting.
Nice. All right. What's a lepidopterist? Is that like a
Lepidopterist?
wait. How do you say it again?
Lepidopterist.
Lap? Okay.
So lepidopterist, lap its wings. Lepidopterist, it's an entomologist that specializes in butterflies and moths.
In flutterbies. That's right. All right. Very cool. What would somebody? Let's just say they come to Jardin Magico, and what are they going to expect? What's that going to be like?
I think
What's
besides
the tour going to be like?
besides only showing our guests the butterflies, we do a lot of education. So when you come as a visitor to us, we provide complimentary tour guides, and the tour guide accompanies you throughout the whole tour, which will last probably around, I would say, 30 to 45 minutes. And they talk about the butterfly sanctuary. They talk about the species of butterflies that we have, reveal all kinds of different interesting facts about butterflies that are not really known to us, generally speaking, as a public. For that sake, okay, let me ask you a question. How do you think that the butterfly tastes their food?
That's a good question. How do they taste their food? Well, they got that big long thing that they stick into the food,
They do.
right?
They have the proboscis.
Okay, a proboscis.
But that actually is just for sipping the nectar or for really the intake of the food.
Yeah.
The butterfly in their feet has very microscopic sensors. And when they land on different plants and different fruits, that's how they actually identify it, if it's a food source or if it's a host plant,
wow.
besides the pheromones and so on. So,
Excellent.
a lot of facts of that sort that are truly educational and really focusing also on the local nature aspect of it, how it all, combines together and how it all collects together, and lots of educational information to really share with people that I don't think other butterfly sanctuaries do.
Okay. When these butterflies mate, I mean, are they kind of sluts, or do they mess around, or do they have they pair up and they're like like lovebirds? What's going on there?
I'll give you some examples. So let's say we have a zebra butterfly at the sanctuary. That butterfly, besides at times becoming carnivorous,
Really?
if they experience lack of food, they will eat their brothers and sisters as caterpillars.
Yikes.
But the interesting thing is that zebra butterfly, let's say if the female is still in a chrysalis and it's ready to emerge, the male zebra butterflies will already surround the chrysalis and wait for the butterfly to emerge.
Wait a minute. That sounds like robbing the crib.
It's seriously.
Oh my God. Okay. Never
At
mind.
times, they don't even fully come out from the chrysalis, and the male zebra butterfly will already mate with them as soon as they can.
Okay. All right. Look out for those zebra butterflies. Don't let any of those zebra butterflies take your daughters out. Whatever you do, folks. Never. All right. But do butterflies, other than the zebra, do they generally just pair up? What happens there?
They do. The main function of the butterfly really is that as soon as they emerge from the chrysalis and the butterfly is ready to fly, the first thing that they do is they look for food. Second thing, they look for a mate. Immediately. Those are two priorities right off the bat, and
because they're running out of time, right? They only got a month.
They don't have much. They only have a month.
All right. Well, it's good to know that we're going to have butterflies forever, okay? Because they just like to do it. What is the cost? What is the cost?
The cost
currently?
is very inexpensive. It's 110 pesos, approximately $6 to enter the sanctuary. The tickets are good for the entire day. So you're more than welcome to hang around the rancho and maybe go even for a hike, spend some time at the big pond over there or at the restaurant, or just really walk around in nature and then come back and visit us once again. Feel free. This is
Tell us what kind of restaurants you got around your place.
At the ranch over there is a local Mexican, traditional Mexican restaurant available. It's open during the season between November and March.
Okay, so there's a place close by, and you probably eat there, right? So it's okay.
We do. The food is very good. We usually go there for drinks. I go there for my limonada mineral.
Okay, bueno. All right, excelente. All right, let's leave Jardin Magico just for a few minutes. Let's get out
Sure.
into town, okay? You're not a restaurant owner anymore, so we can ask you all the kinds of questions about restaurants here, and we always ask as part of our bonus round here what your favorite restaurants are: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So.
Oh, wow.
And a lot of people, they don't eat breakfast, and, I understand that, but you got a favorite breakfast spot?
To be honest, I don't.
See, you're one of those guys,
I
right?
still have the passion for cooking and baking, generally speaking, and we always eat breakfast at home. I love to still use my creativity and just make something different in the morning, so breakfast preferably at home. If we'll go with friends, now and then we will, but would I say that I have a favorite restaurant? Will be hard to say. I don't think I've been out there enough for breakfast to kind of make the decision.
Okay, yeah, let them make the
At
decision
home.
for you, right? Yeah. Eat at my place. Come on, let's do that. What about lunch? You got a favorite lunch spot?
Hi, for lunch, you know what, generally speaking, because we came over here to really experience the Mexico and the local culture, I love food street. Tacos, burritos, tortas, agua frescas, anything that offers traditional Mexican food. The more greasy it is, the more happy I am. That's the Polak in me.
And I want you to know that Chris is as skinny as a rail. Okay, you'd be thinking after you heard that, okay, Chris. No, he is skinny as a rail. How about dinner?
Dinner, probably I would say Barrio Bistro.
Yeah. You like Memo's cooking over there? Huh?
Yeah, it's really nice, creative food, nice ambience environment. A little bit away from the city again, and kind of the traditional, more neighborhood. Yeah.
What do you get when you go there?
Well, his menu changes so
Oh, it
often,
does,
and he's
yeah.
so creative with it that you always are
There's always
trying to
something
go
different.
to try something new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have a favorite taco stand? One of your favorite taquerias?
Probably there is few in Cinco de Diciembre alone. I think, yeah, between probably Honduras over there. Yeah, there's quite a few of them that really have very, very good tacos. I think to me, more so the salsa makes really the topping to
That's
all
what
of
it's
it.
all about,
That's
yeah.
where the love is.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody can chop up meat and throw a little seasoning on it.
Exactly.
We could do that. But it is the sauce, and it
Yeah.
is the toppings. You're
Yeah.
absolutely right. Do you have a word of advice for a first-time visitor coming to Puerto Vallarta, other than coming to Jardin Magico?
Visit. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. Don't be skeptical. Don't feel afraid. Be yourself. This is the place where you can experience the beauty of the city. Local people are amazing, very supportive, impossible to get lost. So much to see, so much to experience. Bus transportation available at all times. It's a paradise. The beaches are super beautiful. People are super, super friendly. Variety of food and culture activities. The city is packed. You can keep yourself busy on an ongoing basis. I think you can have an amazing, amazing vacation over here. That's how we fell in love with Puerto Vallarta. We came here a few times on vacation, and we said, "Yep, this is it. This is the place where we want to live and be every day."
Yeah.
No regrets.
doubt. And you're not alone, my friend. You're not alone. You have any words of warning for somebody coming here?
Not really. I cannot really think of anything. I'm very optimistic and very positive person myself, and advisory, not so much. Just, be safe, be, conscious enough of the environment. You are in a different country. You are visiting, just like anywhere else. If you will go to Europe or Asia, the same thing. Don't go to places you should not be going to, and you'll be just fine.
Right on. Right on. Is there anything that you wanted to add before we say goodbye today? Is there something that you wanted to talk about or anything like that?
Probably once again, trying to encourage people to visit us at the sanctuary. Community, we will definitely would like to get more support from the community as we'll be launching a huge educational program for the local kids over here at schools.
Cool.
Focusing mainly on the public schools. As we all know, kids from public schools do not get any luxury of outings and going different places and museums and so on. So we will be asking for support of people to help us to get those kids, to bring them in, to educate them, to show them something that really teaches them. We've done one class before we were forced to shut down for the epidemic, but kids enjoyed it so much. If you could look into their eyes, how excited they were. Literally, my heart was just racing. I couldn't get over it, how they were absorbing the information and learning like a sponge. It's just the caterpillars, the butterflies, the whole ecosystem, everything. It's unbelievable. It's been such a joy, and we want to continue. That will be our primary focus.
Well, it is fascinating. It's fascinating to me, and I'm sure it's fascinating to kids. I'll have a link to the sanctuary. I'll have all that information in the Facebook. You got a Facebook page, yes?
We have Facebook page. We have our own website. We have TripAdvisor and all the other social medias, Instagrams. Yes.
So you're all over the place. Easy to find. I'll have links to all those things in the show notes, and of course you can find that at www.puertovallartatravelshow.com and look at Jardin Magico. Look at that blog post, and you'll see all that there. You'll even see a picture of smiling Chris, and you'll also see pictures of Jardin Magico and all the pretty butterflies. And make sure that when you come back to Puerto Vallarta, that you make sure that you stop there. I mean, it's new, it's different, and you will be so overwhelmed with the beauty of these butterflies and flying all around you. It's very cool.
Yeah, it's an amazing experience, truly amazing experience.
Chris, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show and allowing me to introduce Jardin Magico and you to my listeners. I truly appreciate it.
Thank you very, very much for having us. We greatly appreciated all your support over the years. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Chris. Thanks for coming on the show. What did I tell you about those dogs, right? What can we do? What can I do? Anyway, I have links. I have photos. I have all kinds of stuff that will entice you to come and visit Jardin Magico, the Mariposario in Puerto Vallarta, and you got to go. It's really actually beautiful. Okay, that should do it for this week, wouldn't you say? Let's do it again next week. Stay tuned for more on-the-ground reports from Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, with travel tips, with great restaurant and excursion ideas, and more. But until then, remember, this is an interactive show where I depend on your questions and your suggestions about all things Puerto Vallarta. If you think of something that I should be talking about, please reach out to me by clicking on the Contact Us tab and sending us your message. And remember, if you're considering booking any type of tour while you're in Puerto Vallarta, you must go to vallartainfo.com. That's JR's website. Reserve your tour through JR, right from his website. Remember, this is a value-for-value proposition, my friends. His experience and on-the-ground knowledge of everything Puerto Vallarta in exchange for your making a purchase of a tour that you would do anyway. You're just doing it through him as a way of saying thank you. Thanks, JR, for being our guide. It costs no more than if you were using someone else, so do it, really. And when you do take one of his tours, email me about your experiences. Maybe you can come on board and share with others what you liked or didn't like about the tour. And again, contact me by clicking on the Contact Us tab and sending off a message. And don't forget, he's got his maps, his DIY tours, his revitalized happy hour board, and more. And I have links to all of those in the show notes. Now, once again, if you like this podcast, please take some time and subscribe and give me a good review wherever you happen to listen to podcasts. Or tell a friend. That's really the best way. Tell a friend about the podcast. That way we can get the word out to more and more people of the magic of this place, Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Remember, I made it easy for you to do just that with every episode I create. But if you haven't been to my website, well, you really need to have a look there. I have links to the places that we talk about. I have interesting pictures and more right there in my blog posts and in the show notes for each episode of the show. So check them out for sure if you haven't already. All right. Okay. Thank you, Chris and Chris from Mariposario, Jardin Magico. Make sure that you go and add this nifty destination to your next trip to paradise. I have maps, I have links, I have pictures, all of those in the show notes. Don't forget, we have that meet and greet going on at Kelly's Pork Saloon and Cookhouse on November the 10th at 5:30. Make sure you're there if you're in town. And hey, thanks to all of you for listening all the way through this episode of the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show. This is Barry Kessler signing off with a wish for all of you to slow down, be kind, and live the Vallarta lifestyle. Nos vemos, amigos.
Samba de Puerto Vallarta, noche de arrullo en el mar. Samba de Puerto Vallarta, noche de amor junto al mar. Solo camino, perno por la playa, me encuentro junto al río, cuando todo está en calma, pronto cae la noche, brillas Puerto Vallarta, samba de Puerto Vallarta.